Good evening, everyone. So we'll just wait for another 2 to 3 minutes and we'll start the session today. Hello. Hello all. Good evening, everyone. I see many queries. Okay. Kanishka, I will address your query at the end of the session. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Anurag. Hello, Akriti. Also, Adarsh. Again, you have registered and joined. Okay. I'll just inform the operations team regarding that. Okay, Adarsh. Yeah. Good evening, Shivam. Hello. Okay, fine. So, what are all the things that were pending? I did a classification, right? From my end, I have executed the classification. How many of you have executed the regression? Create a small poll, let me know, okay? I have just created a small poll, let me know. Have you executed the regression model or not? And if you're facing any issues or errors, let me know. I have created a poll for that, okay? I want everyone to let me know through the poll. Okay, in the meantime, let me just share my screen. And I see one person, one of you have mentioned as facing issues or errors. Please let me know what kind of error are you facing so that we can resolve that issue, okay? And in the meantime, if anyone is having any other reasons regarding that, please let me know. And also, all please check the handouts and let me know if the handouts are visible to you or not. Okay. We have updated all the 11 handouts. So all the handouts were updated. I haven't yet started sharing the screen through. Just a moment, okay? Actually, my screen. Okay, open it. Just a minute. Is my voice audible? Hello. My voice audible, guys? Just a minute. My screen is frozen. Okay, so yeah, I can see few reactions. Okay, I hope my screen is audible. I mean, my voice is audible. Thank you. Okay, now we were discussing about that, right? Just a minute. So today we'll be discussing about this Flask, okay? Discuss about Flask and we'll see how to deploy the models, okay? How we will be deploying the models, we'll see. Fine. Okay, I think the polls are also done, right? No one is left over. Everyone attempted the poll, right? Okay. Just give me a minute. So in the meantime, what do you know about this supervised learning? What are the algorithms that you are aware of? We have discussed about supervised learning, right? We have discussed few of the algorithms, right? Okay, supervised is done. Unsupervised. Let me know about unsupervised, okay? What do you guys know about unsupervised learning? Just a minute. Anyone know any algorithms in unsupervised learning? Like K-means, hierarchical clustering, DB scan. Are you aware of these algorithms? Yeah, data is not labeled. We train the model on the unlabeled data. Okay. I'm trying to share my screen, but actually the screen is frozen. Just a minute. Okay, I hope I got it. Okay. So let me just share the screen now. Once confirm me if you are able to see the screen. We'll discuss in the first half, we'll discuss about unsupervised learning, and in the second half, we'll continue with the Flask, okay? I hope my screen is visible now, correct? Unsupervised learning. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the reactions. Okay, without any delay, we'll just proceed, okay? So what is this unsupervised learning? What it is saying? It is again a machine learning technique which will be grouping the similar data points together based on their characteristics, okay? Based on the characteristics, it will group the similar data points together. And to group the similar data points together, we have three main different techniques. I mean, mostly used, which are mostly used. One is DB scan, the other one is k-means, and also hierarchical clustering. Okay, hierarchical clustering, hierarchy-based clustering. Okay, I'll also tell you an example how what kind of characteristics it is. Let me just share my OneNote also. OneNote unsupervised. Okay, I hope I need to share my screen. Let me just share my full screen. Okay, now I'm sharing my entire screen, okay? We'll discuss about unsupervised learning now. I hope everyone can see. Unsupervised learning. Okay, fine. So what exactly is this unsupervised learning? Unsupervised learning, it will learn based on the machine learning techniques only, but it will learn on unseen data, unlabeled data. Correct. It will learn on unlabeled data. How it will be learning? It will be learning based on the characteristics of that particular data. Correct. So how or else what kind of characteristics it could be, how it will understand, or else how to understand the data is unlabeled data. Now we'll see, okay? So let's say I'm having a data set, okay? Let's say I'm having a data set. So I'll just write here data set, just a minute. I'm having a data set, okay? Fine. In a data set, we'll have all the independent and dependent variables. In that case, we'll be calling it as what we'll be calling it as supervised, correct? In supervised only we'll have independent and dependent. But while coming into unsupervised learning, we'll not have any dependent values. Each column seems to be relevant and also independent at the same time, okay? Independent at the same time. There is a popular data set called as absenteeism at work, okay? Absenteeism at work. So I'll also mention in the chat, okay? Absenteeism at work is a popular data set where we can do a regression, do a classification, do a unsupervised learning. Okay. See, it completely depends on what kind of problem that we're trying to resolve. Because the data set will be having all the columns where we can do unsupervised learning, we can do regression or classification. Okay, absenteeism at work. This is the data set where we can do any kind of supervised or unsupervised. We can apply both on this data set depending upon our problem. So let's say my problem is to know what are all the different types of people who are absent at work. Okay, that is my problem. So I want to know the categories here. Correct. I want to know the categories or divisions here. So this belongs to an unsupervised learning. If I want to know what is the fare they were incurring on the ride, or else what is their average salary, in that case I can go for regression. Or else if I want to classify them as per the departments, I can go for a classification problem. But I want to know which people belongs to which category, or else which part, which criteria regarding to absenteeism at work. So I choose this unsupervised machine learning because my problem statement is to divide the data set into different types of groups or its partitions. Okay. So I will have a columns like distance from office. Okay. Distance from office. Distance from office, like how many kilometers from home. Okay. And how much fare he is exactly keeping, like for some people will be traveling through bus, some people will be traveling through local metros, right? So what is the fare that they were incurring in a day by day basis? How many leaves they have applied? Okay, how many leaves they have applied? At what time they were in? Okay, at what time they were in? At what time they were out? Okay, so these will be some of my features. Or else it could be how many hours he worked in a week, or else hours in week. So this could be some of my features, correct? This could be some of my features. Now, I will have how many different types of employees I will have. One kind of employees who will be taking break in a frequent interval of time, and the other kind of employees who will be sitting all day in the same place and trying to do the work. Correct. And there will be another type of employees who will be managing their work and also who will be managing the, they will be interacting with others also. Like we'll be getting many different categories people. But I just want to know how absenteeism at work. So I just want to know how many people are absent and what kinds of leaves they were taking. Okay. So now I can divide the people into three different categories. Correct. How many people are coming to the office regularly? See, regularly could be one different part, right? Regularly coming to office. And how many people are doing the hybrid? And how many are completely working remote? Remote, correct. So these are the three main different criteria or else groups I can divide my whole data. Correct. Based on this, I can say how many hours the remote employees are working, how many hours the hybrid employees are working, how many hours the regularly coming employees are working. Correct. Based on this, in my dataset also, I'm having all those features. And I can divide my whole dataset into three different categories: regularly coming to office, hybrid, remote employees. Correct. So based on these three categories only, what are all the characteristics I'm deciding? All these things. Okay. All these are the features. Based on all these features, I'm dividing this whole dataset into three main categories, three main parts. Okay, three main parts. So this is how we deal with the unlabeled data set. We'll be dividing them into the parts or else clusters we'll be calling it as. Okay. Understood, or else do you want me to give another example? Relationships between them. Do you want me to give another example? Okay, my screen is being shared, right? Fine. Now let me know. Do you want me to give another example? Yes or no? Yes, either yes or no. Hope my voice is audible. Okay, so there is too much silence, so that means you know, as of what I know. Okay, I'll just add another example over here. So I think everyone can relate to this example. Let's consider a data set which is related to school, a class, okay, which is related to a class. Let's say 10 standard people, we're having a data set, and in that data set, what are all the features we are having? Let's say we are having the name of that person, name of the person, roll number, marks. Okay, marks will consider total marks, roll number, and also we can consider what distance from home, distance from home to school, and what else we can consider, the other details like the phone number, all those categories, right, the assignments, all those things, correct. So let's say these are all the three main features I'm having. Now see, name is an independent, marks is independent here, but we can say if we are doing a regression, we can say marks are dependent on the name, right? And also we are having distance from office, okay, I mean school, distance from school, or else distance to home. Okay. So in this school, in a school, we are considering a class, and that class we are saying 10th class, I mean 10th standard. I'm having a 10th standard data set where I'm having name and few other features. Okay, few other features. So now if I do an unsupervised learning, what are all the different characteristics it will learn? What are all the different relationships it will be learning? Now, this unsupervised learning model will learn about. So we can divide a class into three main categories: first benchers, middle benchers, and the last benchers. Correct. First, middle, and the last. Correct. So we can divide our class into first, middle, and the last. So based on these three categories, and whatever the characteristics this first benches have, this middle benches have, this last benches have, the whole data set will be divided into three. Understood? See, first benches means they will come on time, they will have their lunch during their lunch hours, and also they were very attentive in the class. And middle benches, they were mostly not too interactive and not too attentive also. I mean, they were good. And last benches, you all know. So different characteristics will be existing between the first benches, middle benches, and the last benches. Correct. Based on those data points and based on those relationship between each and every data point, the data point will be divided into that groups. Okay, will be considered in their own group. So it is called as dividing the whole data set into groups or clusters, we'll say. Okay, clusters, clusters we'll say. Okay, clusters. Fine. I hope this example is good and everyone understood. I hope everyone. Fine. I'll just proceed with KNN. Okay. Sorry, K means. Let me just share the screen. So what exactly is clustering? What exactly is clustering? Grouping similar data points and discovering the patterns. Okay, grouping similar data points means you can consider the example for both absenteeism at work and also what was the other example? Students' performance, right? Students' performance. See, clustering is nothing but grouping the similar data points. And how we are grouping those similar data points? By discovering the patterns. Okay, by discovering the patterns, we are grouping the similar data points. That is what the clustering is. Okay. So, what is grouping similar data points? Clustering algorithms identify and organize data points into groups or clusters based on the similarity. Okay. Similarity in the sense first, middle, and last range. Discovering patterns. So, clustering can reveal previously unknown structures and relationships within a data set, leading to a valuable insights. Okay. And you all know what an unlabeled data is. What it is saying, unlike supervised learning, clustering does not require a labeled data and which will make it well suited for exploratory data analysis. Okay. And you all know this, right? Exploratory data analysis, EDA. So what are all the different types of clustering algorithms present? K-means, hierarchical, density based. Okay. K-means hierarchical and density based. These are all the three different types of algorithms present. Okay. First, we'll discuss what exactly K-means is. Okay. So K-means clustering. What it is saying? Initialize the centroids, assign the data points, update the centroids. Okay. Update the centroids. See here. Even if you see in the previous slide, what it is saying, a popular and efficient algorithm that partitions the data into K clusters based on the proximity to centroids. Okay. Here, how the things are working in KNN, how they are working based on the majority of the data points present in any one of the label, I mean the nearest label, then the new data point will be assigned to the same label, right? New data point will also be assigned the tag as the same label, correct? But in K-means, how it happens is here we'll be calculating it based on the centroids, okay? Centroids. And how it happens exactly? Initially, we need to initialize the centroids. We need to define the K number of data points to consider, okay? Everyone getting? See, in the step one, initialize the centroids, randomly select the K data points to serve as an initial cluster centroid. Then we'll assign the data points, each data points to cluster with the nearest centroid. Okay. And we'll update the centroids accordingly and we'll calculate and by taking the mean of all the data points in each cluster. Okay. Now what exactly are centroids? Centroids are central points of each cluster. Okay. So let's say I'm having a cluster. So in that whole cluster is nothing but the groups. Okay, cluster is nothing but the groups again. So in that whole cluster, the central points are considered as a centroids. Okay. And how the centroids are calculated? They will be calculated in two steps: initialization and updating. Initialization. What is this initialization? Initially, I mean, the very first time in the whole group or in the whole cluster, randomly the centroids are initialized. Okay, randomly the centroids are initialized. Then how they are updated after assigning the data point to the clusters. Okay, for that whole cluster, initially we'll pick a random point as a centroid. Okay, and after assigning that point to the clusters, the centroids are updated by calculating the mean. Okay, by calculating the mean of all the data points in each cluster. And how it will be updated according to the formula? It will consider all the data points in the cluster. How the mean is calculated, exactly how the average is calculated, exactly the centroid is also updated in the same way. It's like sum of all the data points in cluster by number of the data points present. Okay, sum of all the data points in cluster by number of data points present in a cluster. Okay, let's proceed forward. So this is about imports, data preparation, model training, and also evaluation. And even here also the distance is calculated. Okay, even here also the distance is calculated. Fine. So what are some of the applications of clustering? Customer segmentation. Yeah, customer segmentation is also you can consider. Like Netflix identifying different users. The users who are paying monthly will be getting what kind of a content, or is the users who are paying a very less amount within a threshold amount will be getting a limit, screen limit, and the users who are paying heavily, they'll be not getting any screen limit. Correct. It will be dividing or segmenting the people, right? As per the regions also. See, if we are in India, we'll be getting getting some of the movies available for us. Some only few movies will be available for us in our region. And if you observe in US region, only few movies will be available, and that similar movies will not be available in the India region. Correct. So it will be segmenting. How it will be segmenting based on these regions also. Sometimes we can segment all these categories. Okay. So just remember, K-means will be working based on the centroids. Okay, K-means works based on the centroid, and initially randomly the data point is picked from the centroid, and from that data point through the mean calculation, it will be updating all the data. It will be updating its centroid. Okay, then it will be shifting to next centroid. If the based on what, based on the number of case. Okay, based on number of the case, it will be shifting the centroid. If not, it will consider that and it will be giving the output. Okay, hope it's clear. Only few reactions. I'll just repeat one more time, okay? See, the workflow is simple, okay? The workflow is simple. First, initially, we'll choose the number of the clusters. That is how many clusters we want the whole data to be divided into. Mostly it will be 3, 4, or 5, depends on the size of the data. Okay, and then we will initialize the centroids, randomly initialize the centroids. So what happens here? Randomly, it will select the k number of data points at the initial centroids. Okay, whatever the k number that you are giving, 3, 4, or 5, accordingly it will select the k number of data points. And how or else how many k number of data points it will consider, that you will be defining. Correct. So in what area it will consider, whatever the centroid it is considering, so nearest to that centroid only, it will consider that number of k data points. Okay, then it will calculate the distance between the data point and the centroids. Okay, and it will assign each data point to the cluster with the closest centroid. Okay, it will assign each data point to the cluster with the closest centroid, and in the same way it will be updating. It will calculate the new centroid and update the centroids. And how it will calculate the new centroids? By considering the mean of all the data points assigned to the cluster. Okay, and same process will be repeated. Okay, like the assigning and updating process will be repeated, and the final cluster assignment, I mean in the final output we'll have the cluster assignments and the centroids. And I hope Kevin's understood Kevin's, right? Any doubts? I had just created a small poll. Let me know. I see you people are not reacting also. Let me know. Okay, fine. I see one no. Let me know your query, okay? Let me know your query. And one more thing, there is a concept called as WCSS, okay? WCSS. Within cluster sum of squares, okay? Within cluster sum of squares, that concept is important, okay? And what is that exactly used for? It is a metric, okay? It is widely used metric which will be help us to evaluate the quality of that particular clustering models, okay? Quality of the clustering models. WCSS is an important concept. Remember. What it will be doing, it will be measuring the total squared distance between each data point and to the assigned centroid within that particular cluster. So that is the reason we will be calling it as within cluster sum of squares, okay? It is used to evaluate the quality of the clustering models. Fine. So these are some of the applications. So what are the best practices and consideration like data preparation? Data preparation, you all know, ensure data is clean, normalized and free of irrelevant features. Feature selection. Feature selection is used to identify the most informative features. Feature selection is important in unsupervised learning because we need to know which features are contributing. Correct. Which feature is relevant. But mostly we are doing the clusters, right? So feature selection, you need to make sure that you are considering the relevant features, okay? Algorithm selection, choosing appropriate cluster algorithm based on the problem and data. Cluster validation, evaluating the clustering quality using the internal and external validation metrics, okay? Fine. Okay, that is about the k-means, and also in hierarchical also we'll have hierarchy is nothing but it will consider in the format of an hierarchy. Okay, it will consider the data points in the format of an hierarchy. And also we have a density based also. Density based in the sense, let me just show you. Yeah, density based. So density based means it will identify the cluster as the areas of high data density, separating them from low density regions. So first it will divide the data set into clusters, and in whatever the clusters will be having high density in the sense high number of data points present in that particular cluster. Low density, low number of data points present in that particular cluster. That is what the density is, okay? So the data points will be divided in the density format. So that is what the density base is. So this is mostly about unsupervised learning. Mostly you'll be using unsupervised learning in understanding the relationships, okay? Understanding the relationships and the characteristics between each data point. And then you'll divide them into clusters. And for all those models, the applications for these. Segmentation, image recognition, what kind of image it is, what kind of image category it is, anomaly detection like identifying outliers or unusual data points, recommendation systems, such as suggesting the products or content based on the user clustering and user preferences. See, recommendation systems, you can consider the example of Netflix or else Amazon Prime. Correct. How exactly? Suggesting the user content based on his requirements, correct? So it's based on the region, okay? So this is mostly about unsupervised learning, okay? I'll share a notebook with you related to this unsupervised learning. So this is it for unsupervised learning, guys. If anyone is having any doubts on unsupervised learning of any algorithm, you can let me know in the Q&A. And moving forward, we will discuss about Flask, okay? We'll start discussing about this Flask now. And we'll do the implementation of Flask implementation, and we'll discuss what kind of projects you will have, okay? I see 2 notes for K-means, so please let me know what is your query, okay? I won't be able to see your name. Yeah, it was so quick. So quick. It was fine. Introduce you to Flask, okay? Fine, just a minute. Okay. So what exactly is Flask? How many of you worked on Flask? How many of you worked on Flask, guys? Shivam, Akash, Shashank. Have people worked on Flask? And also, Kanishka, have you used Flask in the project? Yeah, correct. So what exactly is Flask? Flask is a web framework, okay? Flask is a web framework which will help us to develop the web applications, okay? Small scale web applications. Okay, and also Fast API is present. Fast API will support for the larger applications, okay? For larger applications, we can go for Fast API. And for a medium level or else a normal range scale applications, we can go for this Flask, okay? In this class, we'll have 2 main major components, okay? One is WSGI and Jinja 2. These are the 2 main core components. We'll discuss them. So we'll just see about what this Flask is and how it is displaying the output in the web page and how it is rendering the templates in the Flask. We'll see all these things, okay? Right. So what it is saying, Flask is a micro web framework written in Python, and it is classified as micro framework because it does not require particular tools or libraries, correct? Or any other components where pre-existing third-party libraries provide common functions. So Flask is a micro web framework, okay, which will help us to scale small scale applications. And how to install this Flask? We just need to use pip install Flask. In this, I told you 2 main components, right? WSGI and Jinja 2. WSGI is nothing but it's a web server gateway interface. I hope many people know about this web server gateway interface. What it is exactly? It will define how a web server will communicate with the application, okay? That too in Python. And this Flask app is designed to work with the servers like WSGI, or else we have Verzook server, okay? Let's move forward. I think those concepts are present, yeah. WSGI and Jinja 2 based on the Flask case, working based on the Verzook and Jinja 2. Verzook, you can consider them as a web servers also, okay? So first you need to know about WSGI. What exactly is WSGI? WSGI is Web Server Gateway Interface. It will define how a web server is communicating with the web application. Okay. See, let's say you're doing a request to a front-end application. You are using a website, or else you're registering over there, or else you're giving your input data. Okay. So, or else you are requesting some content from an application. So let's say you're doing a request to a web server. So how it will be happening? Through web application interface only, you will be giving your input, or else you'll be asking the question. So what exactly happening in the backend? So you're doing the request. It will hit a web server and then it will provide the output in the application, right? So I mean, the web server in the sense, the web server will be hitting the databases, and from there it will be fetching the output, and that will be displayed in the web application, correct? So that is what the WHGI is, okay? Web Server Gateway Interface. It will define how a server will communicate with the application, okay? Server will communicate with the application. So in short, you can consider it as it will allow the Flask application to run and handle the HTTP request, okay? HTTP request and responses. And coming into Jinja 2, Jinja 2 is a template engine. We'll say it as a template engine. Engine in the sense, like it will help us to load all the HTML files, okay? Jinja 2 in the Jinja 2 format only, or else in the Jinja 2 template engine only, we will load all the HTML files dynamically, not static, okay, not static way, in a dynamic way, okay, in a dynamic way. This Jinja 2 template engine will help us to load the HTML files. And in the Flask, we'll use Jinja 2 to render the templates. Render the templates in the sense, load the templates, okay. In order to load the templates, we'll use this Jinja 2. Fine. So what are the other Python frameworks? So mostly Django, you have heard, Bottle, CherryPy, Picam, Pyramid, and Web2Py, okay. So these are some of the other frameworks along with Flask, okay. Okay, so I just told you, right, what exactly the WHGI is doing over here. So Flask, I mean framework for building web application in Python. So this is a browser, the client side, and this is the web application server, correct? Web application server. So whatever the request that you are doing, it is getting and it is displaying, okay? You see over here. So there is a request from client like, can you give me the homepage for my fantastic site.com? So it will hit the web server, okay? It will hit the web server, and again it will fetch, and it will display, it will render this code, it will render this HTML template based on the Jinja 2, and it will display it in the browser, client side browser, okay? Fine. So this is just the working, and the Flask framework process, how exactly we'll be using it in machine learning. With the data, training happens with the machine learning model, and whatever the model we are having, we'll do the pickling. We'll pickle the model. How many of you know about this pickling? Pickle. Let me know in the Q&A, okay? So what exactly is pickling? See, pickling is a process, okay? Pickling is a process which is already present in this Python, okay? I mean, in the Python, it is a built-in module in Python named as Pickle, P-I-C-K-L-E, okay? Pickle. And for every machine learning model, or else be it supervised or else unsupervised model, for any model which we build, we'll be pickling that model, okay? We'll be pickling that model. Pickling in the sense, what exactly present in that model? In that model, we'll have all the weights or else all the hyperparameters which we have used to in order to train the model on our data, correct? The model will contain all this information. But once we pickle the model, what exactly happens is it will convert that weights or else hyperparameters into byte stream format, okay? Byte stream format. The internal parameters of the model will be converted into a byte stream format. Okay, byte stream format will be like in a hexacode format, okay? But it will preserve the information. There will be no loss of information. It will preserve the information. But in order to use the machine learning models in our Flask framework, or else in order to send the model uh, to any other stage, or else to any other let's say I just want to use that application in any other way, or else I just want to save that model and I just want to use that model in a cloud. Okay, I just need to pickle that and I can upload that pickled model into that my cloud interface and I can work over there. So whatever the machine learning models which we are having, okay, we'll be pickling those models and we'll be saving the pickled file. Okay, we'll be saving the pickled file and we'll be creating this Flask. Okay, we'll be importing them in the Flask. Okay, we'll unpickle them in the Flask again. We will load the model and we'll give the inputs and we'll predict the model. Okay, so that is how we'll be using a machine learning model in the Flask framework. Okay, Flask framework. And I will also show how to pickle the file, okay? So why exactly we need to use Flask? See here, why exactly we need to use the Flask? It is very easy to learn and small, but can easily handle the large applications to, I mean, in the medium range applications. And even the documentation of Flask is very good. I'll just show you the documentation also. And it is written in Python. And whatever the routes which we are having, we will be define each and every route by the decorators. We know the decorators in Python, right? So in a similar way, we will be defining each and every route. Okay. And whatever which is required, only we'll be importing them. Okay. We'll be importing them. So now we'll see how to pickle a model. Okay. Now we'll see how to pickle a model. So mostly everyone understood what exactly a Flask is, correct? Exactly as Flask is now, everyone is having an idea. At least you got an idea, right? What exactly Flask is. And I'll just share the Flask documentation also. Flask documentation link also I'll share. Just refer to this. In the meantime, just refer to this documentation. And one more thing, yeah, before writing a Flask application, you need to install this Python, install the virtual environment, create a directory for your web application, activate the virtual environment. And how many of you know about this virtual environment? How many of you know about virtual environment? Please be quick, guys. Let me know what is exactly virtual environment. And this is your last training session, okay? Today is your last training session. So, how many of you are aware of virtual environment? If everyone is aware, then I will directly start with the Flask. If not, I'll explain about this virtual environment. Okay, got it. Fine. I see only one person very interactive in the session. I want responses from others too. Virtual environment, virtual ENV. Okay, only one person is aware of a virtual environment and only one person is asking about it. Try to respond with just give a response. Just drop a response. Yeah, sandbox virtual machine. Fine. Okay, fine. Let me just share my OneNote. Okay, now we'll discuss about virtual ENV. Okay, virtual ENV. Why exactly we'll be using virtual ENV? In one single line to isolate our projects. To isolate our projects. Okay, isolation. But how exactly the virtual environments will be helpful for us? Okay. Now, I'll just try to explain it in a simple way. Try to understand. And if you're having doubts, immediately ask me. Okay. Fine. So here, let's say, there is a four people in a project. Okay. A project has been assigned to four people. Okay. Four people. One, two, three, four people. Let me just write project one, two, three. Let me just write it properly. And four. Okay. So a project has been assigned to four different people. And we all know that if it's a group project, only one main person will be working in working in that group, right? Mostly others will be contributing to that. Correct. So let's say the first person has worked on the project. Okay. He worked on the project. So let's say he's done. So, and also let's consider like, in the story format I'm explaining. So let's say tomorrow is a project presentation day. Okay. Now, all these three people from these three people, one person, okay, number two, want to know about the project, okay. So number two has called this number one and asked about, could you please share the project details? So as tomorrow is a presentation, I just want to go through the project details. Please share with the code files. The person number two has requested number one. Okay. Now this person has completely shared the whole project file, including the notebook. Okay, including the notebook. This person has run the whole file. Okay, this person run the whole file. The number two person run the whole file, but he will face some issues. He'll face some issues. What kind of issues? Module name error not found. Correct. He need to install all the libraries. So now here, let's say the person one done with the project, right? So he's having a scikit-learn version of 1.5.1. Okay. And this second person is having all the files from one, right? So he did pip install. This second guy did pip install. He got a version of 1.6.1. Okay, let's consider. Now, so this one is done. Okay, this one is done. Now fine. For this first person, the project is working on this version. For second person, the project is working on this version. So let's say this second person is also having an other project. Okay, is also having another project where he was having only the Flask and the pickled file. Okay, he is having only the Flask pickled file. Okay, this is second project. This is his second project. Okay. So this second person is handling two projects. So first project, he got it from his from the first person, and he run that. He run the whole project, and his scikit-learn version is 1.6.1. Okay. What is this 1.6.1 scikit-learn version? sklearn version. Okay. sklearn version. And the same second person is having another project. Let's say second project where he's not having the notebook. He's just having the pickle file and also the Flask file. Okay. Flask file in the sense he's having the py file. Okay. So here this pickle file, whatever the pickled model he's having, the version over there is 1.5 point, let's say some x. X in the sense you can consider 3, 4 or 5. Okay. 1.5 point x is the pickle file version. So now this second person is having two projects. Correct. Second person is having two projects, right? Two projects. And in these two projects, he's having two different scikit-learn versions. One is 1.6.1 and other one is 1.5. Let's say 3. Okay. Let's consider 1.5.3. So he has run his project on this model. Okay. Now, will he be able to run this application? Will he be able to run this model which is having 1.5.3? See, my question is, he has pip installed 1.6.1 in order to run the first project. Okay, first project. In order to run this project, he has installed 1.6.1 and he ran this project. So will he be able to run his other project, the second project, with the same version? Will he be able to run? Will he be able to run? No, correct, no. Because that pickled file requires only 1.5.3 version, correct? 1.5.3 version it requires. So now he need to pip install this version only, 1.5.3 version. So if he pip install 1.5.3 version, will he able to run this project? See, my question is, if he pip installs 1.5.3, will he be able to run 1.6.1? Yes or no? No, correct. No. So in order to make sure he is able to run this project, sorry, this project, just a moment. So in order to make sure he's able to run this project and this project, he needs to isolate those libraries, or else he need to create an environment and he need to install all the libraries in that closed environment only. Closed environment in the sense. So now what is happening here? So if we create the virtual environment, what exactly happens? Whatever the virtual, this is a virtual environment, let's say VENV, okay? VN, this is a virtual environment, let's consider. So whatever the library is required for this first project, okay? This is a virtual environment for first project. So all the libraries will be inside this environment only. Whatever the local project which he is having, it will not have any clash. Correct? It will not have any clash. So in a similar way, just a minute. So in a similar way for the second project, if he isolated using this virtual environment, all the libraries or else all the library versions will be saved in this closed environment only. It will not be having a clash with this particular first project, correct? The first project is having a virtual environment, so it will be confined to that particular environment only. And second project is also having a virtual environment, so it will be confined or isolated in that particular environment only. So there will be no version clash between these two projects, and these two projects will be able to learn, able to work, okay? I can run simultaneously these two projects. But before, if I'm not using virtual environment, those two projects will be having a version clash, okay? Those two projects will have version clash, okay? Version clash will be happening. In order to avoid this, we'll go for virtual environment, okay? Clear? Yeah, incompatibility, fine. Clear? Shashank, Amit, Akash, Shivam, Amir. I see only few names. Sahu. Okay, no doubts, right? No doubts, right? Fine. So, until now it's clear, right, everyone? Until now it's clear, right? Yeah, fine. So now what we'll do is we'll just have a 5 minutes of short break. At 7:15 we'll start, okay? 7:15 we'll be starting. Okay, VNV globally or else particular folder. See, in a particular folder, we can create a virtual environment, okay? Instead of installing it globally, it's better if we create a virtual environment for that particular project folder. How it will be helpful is anyone using PyCharm? PyCharm IDE? If anyone is using PyCharm IDE, they will be well aware of this virtual environment. Because every time any new project, it will directly create a virtual environment. Did you notice it, Akash? Did you notice it? Every time when you're creating a new project in PyCharm, it will automatically consider an environment. Have you noticed it? See, do one thing. Just open your new window in the PyCharm and just see over there. When you're creating that new window, it will automatically do the virtual environment also. It will create the virtual environment also. If you notice that, let me know. If you never noticed it, fine. Do notice it now, okay? We'll have a short break, right? In this short break, please have a 2 to 3 minutes of break and have some water, everyone. In the meantime, if anyone is using this PyCharm IDE, just notice that click on new window, select a new window, and just name it as Flask implementation. Folder name is Flask implementation, and see, you'll be seeing that virtual environment, okay? And everyone, in the meantime, please create a folder on your desktop, okay? Please create a folder on your desktop. We'll be doing the implementation, okay? So we'll just have a short break for now. Just 5 minutes of short break, okay? Thank you. I hope everyone is back from the break, right? Let me just share my full screen. And if anyone is having any doubts in between while doing the implementation, do let me know immediately, okay? Okay, fine. So we have built a model, right? So we'll just consider this logistic regression model only, okay? I'll consider the logistic regression model only. Where is that model? It is here. LR model is my model, right? I'll just pickle that model now. Okay, I just pickle that model. I'll just rerun this whole. Let's make sure that I'm running all this because the runtime has been disconnected, right? So I need to make sure that running all of them. Okay, so resume the index, head, tail, species, label encoding. Is label encoding necessary? Yeah, necessary, correct. Scaling is not required, right? Scaling is not required. So scaling commented out. This one is also not required. So let me just check the DF. Okay, petal width, sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and species fine. Okay, next what are we having? And the data frame again, data frame again. Yeah, this one is important, right? Independent and dependent. So splitting the data. How you are splitting X and Y, 70, 30, correct? Logistic regression model. And I also did the prediction. These are my predictions. Correct. Up to here, everything is clear, right, everyone? Up to here, everything is clear, right, everyone? So now, what we will be learning is, we will learn pickling the model, okay? Pickle process we will be learning. Pickle. What exactly pickle is? Pickle is nothing but whatever the model weights or else hyperparameters which we are having, we will be converting them into byte stream format, okay? Byte stream format. So now we'll see what exactly is this happening, okay? So in order to pickle the model, there are two ways, okay? Not in order to pickle the model, there are two ways. That is, one, we can directly use the pickle, okay, and the other one is job lib. Two different we have, two different ways we are having. First one is pickle, second one is job lib, okay. These are two different ways in pickling. I will show how to pickle this, okay. I'll show how to pickle this. Now let me just write the comment, pickling the model. And for pickling the model, what is the content? Here we need to import pickle first. After importing the pickle, we need to write open and here we need to mention what is our model. This is our LR is our model. But what should be our file name? We need to mention it over here. Okay. We need to mention our file name. What do you want me to give the file name as? Just log model I will give, okay? Log underscore model and in the pickle format, right? So dot pkl. And here also you can import alias as pkl, okay? Import pkl. So now I'm pickling it, right? I'm pickling it. So I need to save it in a write binary format, okay? Write binary, WB. If you know file handling in Python, you will be understanding what exactly this WB is. And I just want to do it with F. So I'm writing it. And here, all I need to do is I need to dump that model, okay? I need to dump that model, whatever the model I'm having. So this LR underscore model is my actual model. I am dumping it in the sense I'm converting this pickle file into byte stream format and I'm saving it with a file name as logmodel.pkl, okay? Let me just do this. Now my model will be saved over here, if you can see. See, log model is saved over here. All I need to do is download this. Okay. And you can see here under downloads. Okay. See, log model has been downloaded. Clear until here? I hope this is just pickling the model. And if I want to just load the same model, now I will show you unpickling the model, okay? Unpickling the model is nothing. I mean, it's very simple. Here we are dumping, right? Instead of dumping, we need to load the model, okay? Instead of dumping, we need to load the model. So how we need to do? Again, with open. Again, what was the name that we have given? Log model, right? So we'll just write over here. Log underscore model dot pkn, and here while unpickling we need to do it in write binary RB, okay? RB format again as if. Then here we need to what we need to do? We need to load the model, correct? We need to load the model. So how we can load the model in many different ways. We can assign the variable called model equals to pkn dot load, and what I want to load, I want to load the model, okay? So now in this model, in this variable model, I will have my linear regression model. So let me just give it as logic regression, right? So class model, let me just give it as class model. Okay, I'll just load the model once again. So class model is my variable. Okay. Sorry. Class model is my variable. So can anyone give me any four inputs? Four inputs. What should be those four inputs? Sepal length, sepal width, and petal length and petal width. Okay. I just want four values. Can anyone give me four values in the chat? Four values in the chat. I want four input values for petal length, petal width, sepal length, and sepal width. So I'll show you how the pickled model is unpickled and how it is able to do the prediction also. If anyone is able to give me four input values over here, I'll just show. Okay, my screen is being shared, so is that the reason that you're not giving any inputs? Okay, let me just assume some values. Okay, let me just x is equals to, let me just consider values in a list. First one has 5.1, and let me just consider it as other values as 2.0, okay, 3.0, 1.4. Okay, these are my four input values. Let's say these four input values are my sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. Okay, now how I will do the prediction? This is the variable I have loaded my model, right? Class model. All I need to do is predict. I need to give x here. That's it. Okay, x here. Let me just assign a variable to this, like a equals to, and let me just print it. Okay, expected to array got a one-dimensional array. Just a minute. Class prediction, right? Just a moment. It should be in array format. Okay. np dot array. Import NumPy as np. np dot array format. Okay, array, right? I need to define an array. Just a minute. Okay. Expected 2D array 5.2. Expected 2D array got one-dimensional array instead. Reshape your data array dot reshape. Okay, -1 to 1. Okay, so how did we pass the inputs to the model? So how are we having the inputs? We are having in two-dimensional array, but we are giving a one-dimensional array, right? So let me just directly give xtest over here. So let me just consider a value from xtest. Just wait, let me just remove this. So xtest dot head of 1. So two-dimensional array. See the labels and also the values. But now I was giving only the values, so that is the reason I was getting this error. So let me just give this as an input. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this values belongs to class 1, and which is predicting, my pickled model is predicting these values belongs to class 1. Okay, got it? So this is how you will be pickling the model. Okay, pickling the model. First, initially you need to write them in the binary format, and you need to load them in the read binary format. Okay, in the write binary and in the read binary format, you need to read your files. Okay, fine. So pickling the model, understood everyone? Let me know in the Q&A. I have just turned off my screen share. Everyone understood, right? How to pickle the model and how to unpickle the model. And why we got that error initially, everyone understood, right? If anyone is having any doubts to regarding that, let me know. And let me just share my screen one again. So this time I'll share my full screen. Please be responsive. This is our last session, okay? This is our last session, guys. So please be responsive, okay? Sharing my full screen. Okay. I told everyone to create a folder on the desktop, right? So even I created a new folder on my desktop and I have named it as Flask implementation. Okay, Flask implementation I have named it as. So this is an empty folder. Now I will open this folder in VS Code. Okay, I will open the folder in VS Code. All I need to do is, there are two different ways. One is directly we can open the folder in VS Code. Or else another way is I just need to write CMD over here. So my command prompt opens in the same path. And then I can give over here code space dot. So my VS Code will open. I mean, most of you have gone through this, right? Okay, fine. Okay. So now my files has been opened. So here, what are all the files required? What are all the files required for doing an implementation through Flask? We need to have an app.py. App.py we need to have. We need to have a requirements.txt, okay? Requirements.txt file we need to have. And one more file we need to have is, mostly these two files are sufficient. And whatever the HTML files I told you, right? We need HTML files, right? See, whatever the user interface that you are seeing, what are the web applications that you are seeing, it will be taking the inputs and it will give the output, right? But what exactly happening in the back, in the back end, we need to have a templates folder, okay? Inside this templates, okay, I have created a file, right? Let me just delete this file. So, two main folders we'll have. Templates. In this templates folder, we'll have all the HTML files, okay? HTML file. For now, let me just create index.html. Okay, in this index.html, you all know this is the boilerplate code, correct? This is the boilerplate for the HTML. Let me just keep it in this way. Let me just close this. Or else, let me just write in the body like, let me just add a div. Hello. Fine. Okay, this is my boilerplate code for index.html. And also similarly, we'll have, for HTML files, it's fine. Then how the CSS will be working? So in order to make sure the CSS is working, we'll create a static folder. Okay, static folder. So inside the static folder, we can have the JavaScript files, or else if any TypeScript files we have, we can have them. We can have all the CSS included in this main CSS. Okay, all the files we can include in static. So remember, static, in the static folder we'll have all the CSS. In the templates folder we'll have all the HTML files. Okay, in the app.py we'll have the main Flask code, and in the requirements.txt we'll have the library versions. See, when I was explaining in this OneNote, I told you, right, one person is able to install I mean, the first person has done the project and the second person is installing, right? But in order to make sure that his two projects are working simultaneously, he needs to install virtual environment, correct? I will show you virtual environment now. And why exactly this requirements.txt will be helpful? If that second person, if that, please listen carefully, if that second person is sharing the first project to the fourth person, then if the second person is including all the library versions, like scikit-learn version is this, Python version is this, NumPy version is this, then the fourth person will be able to implement the project perfectly, correct? So requirements.txt is here. I mean, requirements.txt file will help us to save all the models. I mean, all the model versions. Okay, all the model versions. It will help us to save all the model versions. What is the NumPy version? NumPy version. What is the Pandas version? What is the scikit-learn version? All those versions. So whatever the pickled model we are having, we need to have also the pickled model. So let me just add that pickled model. Just a minute. Just need to pick it from my downloads. Let me just copy it and go to VS Code and paste it over here. Fine. Yeah, I'm having my pickled model also over here. So all I need to have is what is the sklearn model? So what is the scikit-learn model used for this pickled model? Correct. So all I need to do is I need to go over here. I need to open my file. All I need to do is get to know the scikit-learn version. So what I need to do now? I need to print the version, right? Print sklearn dot underscore version underscore, right? This is the syntax. Sklearn is not defined. Sklearn is defined, right? Is that the syntax? So just a minute. So scikit-learn is actually not defined. No, it was defined, right? Maybe there was an issue with the syntax, I guess. Just a minute. Where are we doing that? Yeah, here somewhere we are doing, right? So print the scikit-learn version. We'll just write this. So we'll get that particular prompt also print. So one way is I can directly write scikit-learn hyphen version. Okay, scikit-learn hyphen version. So that is one way. Sklearn, or else I just need to give scikit, I guess. Name scikit is not defined. Let me just give here now. Or else C1. Let me just check the syntax first. Yeah, syntax is correct. So I just need to import that scikit-learn version. So or else let me just do pip list. Or else pip show scikit-learn. Pip show scikit-learn. So what I got. So what is my scikit-learn version here? So this is one way, okay? This is how you can get your scikit-learn version. But the better way is you can directly use scikit-learn version like pip scikit-learn hyphen version. That is one kind of syntax, okay? This is one way. So what is my version here? 1.6.1. So now I need to make sure that whatever the project which I am having, I mean this project here, I need to have the same version, okay? I need to have the same version. So I'll just save this in my requirements.txt file, okay? In my requirements.txt file, I'll just share the version. So this is how I will share my scikit-learn version, okay? Mostly scikit-learn version is enough, I guess. So let me just check for NumPy and Pandas also. Pip show NumPy. NumPy. For the processing of those NumPy arrays, we need this NumPy, okay? Let me just write this NumPy. So what is the version for NumPy? Too much information. NumPy version is 2.2.2. Correct. I hope my screen is visible and my voice is audible. So in a similar way, let me just pull it up for pandas too. Pandas also, let me do. See, why I did pip show, why didn't I do pip install? If I do pip install, it will install a newer version. If I do pip show, whatever the existing version that virtual environment, I mean this uh, notebook was using, it will show that version only. So that is the reason I just used pip show, okay? Fine. So my scikit-learn NumPy pandas version is this. I just need to pip install. If I pip install over here, if I pip install directly in my terminal, what happens now? Other projects will not work, correct? I need to isolate those and I need to isolate my whole project, right? So now I will create a virtual environment, okay? Now I will create a virtual environment. I need to open my terminal. In order to open terminal, there were two ways, okay? Let me just zoom in. In order to open terminal, there are two different ways. One, directly I can click over here and I can click on terminal and I will see the terminal path. The other way is click on this terminal option, new terminal, okay? These are two different ways to open a terminal and I prefer command prompt mode. So let me just switch over here. Okay, so first virtual environment, right? Step by step, okay? So in order to create a virtual environment, so the command is python -m virtual environment followed by the virtual environment name, okay? Followed by the virtual environment. This is a command to do the virtual environment in a folder. So once I click enter, you can see a folder is created naming .venv. In this, you can see scripts, library, include, configuration. So inside the scripts, we are having a exe files. Along with these files, we'll have activate and deactivate and also back files. We need to activate the environment. In order to activate the environment, we need to write activate, okay? It is still creating those files. Let's wait, okay? Yeah. Now activate.bat, deactivation. These are available. So what I need to do, I need to change my directory and go into this virtual environment. And inside the virtual environment, I need to go into this scripts folder. And from here scripts folder, I need to activate the environment. In that way, my environment will be activated. Let me just do that, okay? CD. So change the directory to environment. And in the environment, go to scripts. Okay, now my path is inside the scripts. Now what I need to do, I need to activate it. So I just need to type activate. After typing activate and after pressing enter, you can see before my path, there is this .venv. So now the virtual environment is activated. Okay, now the virtual environment is activated. What virtual environment is activated? The virtual environment with the name .venv is activated. Okay, so now I need to come out of these two folds, two directories, right? So just need to write cd and cd. So I hope everyone is able to see now. So previously I created an environment, then I went navigated into that file. I have activated the environment and then I got out from that particular directories. Correct. So let me just clear the screen or else I can type CLS. Okay. Now I have cleared the screen. So let me just check the Python version again. So what is the Python version I'm currently working on? 3.11.8. Okay. Currently I'm having Python version 3.11.8. Where in this virtual environment, okay? In this virtual environment, even the virtual environment is created using the Python version 3.11.8. If you want to use a different Python version, you can just change in the interpreter, okay? You can change in the interpreter also. Fine. So now let me just check if I am having any NumPy version or Pandas version in this environment. Will I have any NumPy or Pandas version here? No, right? See, NumPy is not recognized. Let me just do it for Pandas. Even for Pandas also it will show not recognized because this is now this whole project is an isolated is in an isolated environment. Okay. So now all I need to do is I need to install these libraries. In order to install, there were two different ways. I can directly write pip install numpy equals to 2.2.2. This is one way. The other way is if I want to install all the libraries at one single go, I just need to write pip install, read all the content present in the requirements.txt file, pip install -r requirements.txt. So it will install all the libraries present in the requirements.txt file. See, it is collecting NumPy, Pandas, installing collected packages. What are the packages it has collected? NumPy, joblib, scipy. Okay, another thing, we need to check the pickle version also, right? Because we have pickled the model, correct? We need to check the pickle version also. So let me just do the pip show pickle. So let me just install this version also. I forgot to install this, right? Okay, pickle it is not having any package. Let me just write print pickle. Just a minute. Import pickle as pickle. Print pickle dot underscore version underscore. Let me just check. Okay, pickle has no attribute version. Okay, fine. So pip show for pandas it is showing. Actually, for pickle it will show a version. Let me just write here pickle. So yeah, fine. No, we are not having a version for pickle, right? It is not giving a version for pickle. Just a minute. Pickle as pickle dot version model pickle has no attribute underscore version. Okay, let me just write pip list. So if I do this pip list, I'll get all the libraries versions which are present in this. Okay. So it will be as per the alphabetical order. Let me just see for pickle if we are having any library version which this particular setup is having. Okay, in the P, right? pickle pickle. Okay, pillow pickle share we are having. For pickle we are not having, right? Okay, for pickle we are not having. It's totally fine. We are just pickling it and unpickling it, right? So no need to worry about that. Okay, so what's happening now? It's still installing. So it is still installing. So in the meantime, we will write the Flask boilerplate code. Okay, we'll write a Flask boilerplate code. Okay, it has installed fine. So it has installed the joblib version. I told you, right? Joblib. Here, if you see, I have showed you joblib. Where was that? Let me just comment on this. Where was the joblib I told you? Just a moment. So today we'll be extending the session for another 10 more minutes. Okay, so please bear with me. Okay, fine. So where did we use that? Yeah, joblib. I told you, right? Joblib. So it has installed a joblib version, which is similar to pickle. Okay. Okay, fine. So now let me just check. Let me just check the scikit-learn version. So in order to check the scikit-learn version, all I need to do is scikit-learn version. Okay, what it is saying, scikit-learn is not recognizable. But here scikit-learn data gives the correct spelling. Okay, let me just do this. We just copy the exact name. Scikit-learn -version. It is saying the scikit-learn version is not recognized as an internal. Let me just check for NumPy. When NumPy it is not showing. NumPy, what was the version it was installed? It has installed this. So let me just import them and check. Just a minute. I have cleared the screen. Okay, before importing, let me just show you this. So if I get the requirements is already satisfied, I'm getting requirements are already satisfied, then that means I'm having that version. Okay, I'm having that version. So I will also show you here how that version appears. Okay, let me just write the boilerplate code for this Flask. In the meantime, if anyone is having any doubts, please let me know through Q&A. Okay. And so now all I need to do is I need to write the Flask code over here. Okay, Flask code over here. Anyone know how to write exactly? Flask, how to render the template, how to import the library. Anyone is aware of it? Okay, fine. Let me just write from Flask. Okay, from the Flask only we'll be import Flask. Okay, we'll import the Flask and also we will import render template. Okay, render template. Hey, render template is used. Render template is for loading the template. Okay, loading the template. Loading the template of what? Loading the template of a index. Okay, index file. So let me just write the other required code. Okay, here we need to initialize the Flask application. In order to initialize the Flask application, see, you are seeing it right? App. We are initializing this Flask application by assigning the variable that called app. Okay, and what are we doing over here? We are routing. We are defining the route over here. And in the PPT slide, you have seen that by using the decorators, we'll be defining the route, right? So have a decorator over here, app.route, and we will define that home function or else home or else index I can give. Okay. As per your template file or else your function, you will be defining this name. Okay. You will render that template and down over here, if name is equals to mean, then you want to run that particular application. Okay, so what exactly you are doing over here? You are initializing your application over here, initializing the application over here, and then you are mapping the home page URL. Okay, you are mapping the route, and then you are rendering the template, and then you are starting your local server. Okay, you can also add, if you want to add, you can add the port also. Okay, fine. So I'm having all these. So let me just run this Flask application now. Okay. Okay. All I need to do is Python app.py. So this is the command to run this app.py file. In this app.py file, we are having this details, right? So let me just run this. Okay, Flask. I didn't install Flask, right? So that is the reason it is saying no module name Flask. So let me just write pip install Flask. Any doubts, anyone until now? So this is my Flask version it has collected. Okay. So let me just save it over here. Okay, save it over here. Fine. So whatever the pickle, so let me just run this, right? I need to run this, right? Just a minute. See here, all I did is Python app.py. It is serving the Flask app on the app.py file. Debug mode is on because debug equals to true. And there is a warning. What is the warning? This is the development server. Do not use it in a production deployment. Use a production WSGI server instead. See, what is WSGI web server? Gateway interface, right? So we need to use it in a production level. This is for just a development server only. Whatever this local deployment we are doing, it is a Development server in the sense we'll have only HTTP. In a production level, if you want to use, it will be HTTPS, secured link. Okay. So all you need to do is you need to hover over the link. You will see follow the link. Just click on that, and you will be navigated over here. Hello world. Okay. Hello world. Fine. You got it right. How exactly we are navigating? If I just keep it over here as let me just write it as HW. I hope it works. See, if you see over here, restarted with a change in app.py reloading. So if I just reload it, it will not found. All I need to do is HW, not over here, just a minute. What was the route that was defined HW, right? Let me just check. Yeah. See, in this HW route only I'm having hello world. Got it. In this HW route only I'm having hello world. So that is the reason if I'm doing HW only, it will navigate. If not, it will not give, correct? It will not give. So let me just remove this. Sorry. So again, it is restarting with the changes. Again, let me just reload this. See, HW means it is not present now. So let me just remove that HW. Hello, correct. So here you can make sure that whatever the pickled model that you are having, okay, you can create a template. Okay, you can create a template. In that template, you can, what you need to do is you need to exactly in the body, what you need to do is you need to give four inputs. It needs to take four inputs as a request, and it need to get those inputs, and it needs to make sure that inputs are being provided as an input in a two-dimensional format to the particular pickled model, so that the pickled model will be giving us an output, and that output you can fetch that output and display it over here the browser client side. Okay, on the client side. Understood? Understood what exactly you need to do? Let me just write it here in the, yeah, I see someone is raising their hand. Any doubts until now? What exactly do you need to do? Understood, right? Understood pickling in code will be the same even in Jupyter Notebook. Yeah. Code will be the same. How to pickle the model in Jupyter Notebook. Pickle.version. Yeah, pickle.version, it was not working. Fine. Well, in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, Amit. I will address your query, Amit. Just a minute. How to pickle the model in Jupyter Notebook. I have shown you, right? See, I'll just share that code, okay? So instead of pickling, you can also do joblib, okay? Try to do it with joblib. I have shared the code, pickling the model. Import pickle as pickle with open. This log model is my file name. You can keep any model, but I mean, you can keep any name to that. But at the end, you need to add .pkl, okay? At the end, you need to add .pkl. That's it. You need to dump it. After dumping it, you need to load that model, right? So how to load that model? You need to unpickle and load the model. So I'm sharing that code also. Just a minute. Okay. So pickling and unpickling, I have shared it in the chat. Everyone can please refer it. So everyone understood, right? How to exactly work with the pickled model, how to load that model. In a similar way, you can load that in the Flask also, okay? So how to create a virtual environment, how to install the libraries in one single go, what exactly is virtual environment. Everyone understood, right? Any doubts, anyone? And any doubts? Okay, fine. Okay. So as usually, I just created a small poll. Let me know. And I see only very less people have joined today. It's fine. A way to ask about issues faced during the development. See, Akash, if you have seen the calendar, you'll be having these mentoring sessions, okay? Mentoring sessions. So tomorrow, I mean, not tomorrow exactly. Let me just check the calendar once. Just a moment. Just a minute, guys. Okay. Thursday and Friday, it is a self-paced learning. And then exactly from Saturday, okay? Exactly from Saturday, you're having the AMA sessions. AMA session is nothing but ask me anything, okay? Ask me anything. So from Saturday, that is from 19th July, you need to work on these projects, okay? And if you're having any issues during the implementation of your project, every day starting from Saturday, on Sunday you will not have any sessions, okay? From Saturday onwards, every day you'll be having 1 hour session, okay? 1 hour session, 1 hour session. That is from 6 to 7, okay? 6 to 7 you'll have every day project development session up to 30th July, okay? Up to 30th July. So the last date to submit your project is 30th of July, okay? 30 July, 30 July, okay? 30th July is the last date. Fine. So one query, yeah, employee performance prediction. I'll make sure that I will update that code images, okay? Project structure and also code images, I'll make sure to update them, okay? Amit, clear? And Kanishka, you asked about one query, right? What was that? Till when will, so after 30th July only you will be getting your certifications, okay? After 30th July, you will have just 1 week of break. I mean, like 1 week of evaluations we'll be doing. We'll be evaluating your projects. And what should be the project structure flow? Everything will be explained on 19th July, okay? So in that 10 days period of time, you need to work on your project. You need to create you need to follow all the file format structures that you need to have. And after that, your projects will be evaluated. And after doing the evaluations only, you will be provided with a certification, okay? One more query I see in the courses section earlier, there were 4 courses. Now there were only 2. What we have to do? Okay. So if in the course section you're having only 2 courses, please proceed with the 2 courses, okay? Okay, employee prediction, we'll be updating it, okay? I have make sure I will, okay, one more query was, okay. So regarding that employee performance prediction, I have already informed the team, so they were working on that, okay? Just make sure that the images are uploaded, okay? Fine. Amit, I have just addressed, right? See, Vinay, during these 10 days, you'll have the AMA session, right? From 6 to 7. So during that time, you can just verify with the mentor, okay? And your mentor will be Sai Kiran, okay? Fine. See, mostly by tomorrow evening, the things should be resolved, okay? The things will be resolved and handouts are also updated in the drive link. Please let me know if you're able to see everyone. Depends on the dataset, Sahu. Applying scaling before the correlation, it depends on the dataset. See how how the values are present in the Irish dataset. Scaling is not required over there. Correct. So it depends on the values that you're dealing with. SDSS, some images are broken. Like you're not unable to completely see the code or else. SDSS, could you please mention the whole title over here? Shiva Vyas, how we build and do the project. See, by using Flask framework, I've shown you, right, how to define the routes and how the routing is working as per the template, how the templates are rendering, how to pickle a model, and how to use that pickled model. I hope you are in the session this whole time. Yes, Sloan Digital Sky Survey. Okay, just a minute, let me just note down those. Yes, Sloan Digital Broken, and the other one is employee pred employee prediction. Images are missing. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. No, it is necessary to deploy complete project, any cyclic IBM or other. See, what you are doing is a production level deployment. Okay, if you want to deploy it by doing a public access, by giving that particular model a public access, your application a public access, you can deploy it. Many free public access providers are present. Ngrok, for example. Single person can create the project. Yeah, it's a solo project, guys. It's a solo project. Okay, everyone should work on their own project. It's a solo, not a group. Okay. And the very first query I got was Kanishka. Okay, I have submitted GitHub link of my project. May I know how many days it will take to get it checked? So I just answered that Kanishka. So after 30th July only, all the project evaluations will be done. Okay. And coming into this demo link is nothing but you need to explain how you did your project in one single go in a video format. Okay. In a video format, you need to explain your whole workflow of your project. And regarding the project documentation, I will just say the sample documentation, how you need to do the project documentation. Please do consider that documentation as a reference and do the project documentation. Okay. Fine. I hope it's clear, Kanishka. No, no. The mentor will be only one person. I mean, he will be taking all the sessions from 6 to 7. If you're having any doubt in the project, you may join the session and you may clear your doubts. What I say is like everyone please join the session daily. Just be in the session. Okay. Be in the session. If you're having doubts, let him know. He'll be clarifying your doubts. Okay. And you can start working on your project from today itself. Okay. And also if you're having a doubt, so you may post it in the Telegram group too. Be active in the Telegram also. Okay, what is this? What is this, Akash? See, I shared a link. Let me just check. You told that this is what you're facing. Okay. Yeah. So images are not being displayed in that case, correct? Okay, thank you. Thanks for the clarification. Thank you, Akash. Okay. Yeah, Shiva Vyas, I mean, your query was clear, right? You were asking a query related to some project. I hope I cleared your query. Yeah, please complete the two courses. Okay. Okay, thank you, Shiva. Okay, so thank you guys. So this was our last day and last session. Thank you. You people stayed until 8. So in the next 2 minutes, I'll end the session. If anyone is having any other queries, please let me know. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Shivam. Yeah, thank you, question. Thank you, Akash. So, Akash, you're saying that will we be able to contact you during AMA sessions? So, if it is required, I will be joining the AMA sessions. Okay, mostly Meta will be taking care. Okay, if it is required, then I will join the AMA sessions. Okay, fine. Anyone, any other queries? I think this is it. Okay, so you may leave, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Sahu. Okay, just wait for another 1 more minute and I'll end the session. Yeah, okay. Bye. So someone was okay. I see reactions now. Now you're reacting. I see every reactions. Even I dropped a reaction. Thank you.